Boo!
Welcome back, everyone. In the spirit of Halloween, this class is gonna get you twisted. Today's class is all about getting you nice and twisted. If you caught on my Instagram this week, I was whipping up a storm of content creations because Halloween is my favorite time of year and it holds a very special place in my heart. So today's class, I'm going to show you how to get into 2 twisted, spooky poses and what is necessary in order to prepare your body and access the pose. I hope you guys will find this video helpful, and if you do, hit that like and that subscribe. Let's get started. So before we can get into all those twisted poses, we have to first warm up. We can do this with a very gentle seated spinal twist, stepping your right leg outside of the left, and if it's too deep, you can always straighten the bottom leg. Right hand behind the sacrum, left arm will lift, and then the elbow comes outside of the thigh, lengthen through the spine, lift the chest, and then take your gaze back. So this is just a really nice, simple, seated spinal twist. Pose number 2 is a classic chair twist. And what we really want to look for here is to avoid our knees misaligning. You see how one knee is back, one knee is forward? Doing our best to keep the knees in one line. A modification can be to separate your feet hips width apart. You can even squeeze a block. And then from here, bend your knees and pull the spine forward. If you have the block in between your thighs, squeeze your knees against the block. Taking your elbow to the outside of the block and prayer to heart center. Pressing your hands into one another to pull the thumbs to the center of your chest. Again, watch out that your knees aren't moving forward or back, that your hips aren't swaying around. Doing your best to isolate the hips into square as you take the twist from above the belly button. If the knees are together, it's the same thing. Pull the heart forward, and then the elbow, maybe even the armpit, to the outside of the knees. Pressing thumbs to the center of your chest to look up. Drive your feet down. Turn the gaze up. Stabilize the hips. Now we're ready for twisty pose number 1, and this one's called Fallen Angel. It's very similar to that chair twist, but over here I'm going to take one elbow to the crease of my thigh and my calf, and the other elbow is going to come to hook into the meaty part of my right outer hip. Okay? So 2 points of contact. Once you have those 2 points of contact, lift your hips up high, make sure you're nice and fit where the elbows and the leg connects, and then go ahead and dip the temple of your head down to the floor. Activate your legs and your core to lift the feet off the floor, and then you can even lift one leg up. Variation 2 employs a little bit more core work. So come to sit in your seated tree. The foot is inside of the thigh. Then we're going to lean onto our right hip so that this left hip starts to leave the floor. And take your left hand directly in front of the knee. So draw a straight line and plant it flat. This arm is going to swing back behind you and turn your palm down to contact the floor. So my palm is on the floor. I'm going to lay down, laying my right shoulder down to the floor, and the palm is down on the floor. It's not turned up to the ceiling. My right hand is grounded down. Right ear to the floor. From there, we'll swim this left leg forward and lift the butt so that the pressure comes onto the shoulder. I'm not really putting too much pressure on my head. As you can see, I can still lift my head away from the floor. Use your core, bend your knees in. And then maybe the core will allow you to activate and lift your legs up. Now to get into the second twisty pose, we need to also stretch the hips. And for these poses specifically, we can do so with double pigeon. So stacking the shin on top of your shin, the ankle on top or outside of the knee so that we're not putting pressure bone on bone. The ankle can be outside of the knee. and then lifting the spine to lean forward. Couple of options if it's too intense. One, you can simply place the shins in front of one another so that they're not stacking on top so much. This lessens the load. Or two, if your knees are very high, you might try to prop them up with some blocks for some support, so that as you lift the chest and lean forward, you have a little bit of a boundary in your knees. The idea really is, instead of rounding down, it's to pull the heart forward and think of taking the chest over your shins. Now, if the spine is still rounding, trying to get itself down, whether you're stacking your shins or just crossing them in front of one another, you can try this modification with the wall. Support your knees however you would like to, and then round your spine, walk your hands to the wall behind you. The closer you sit to the wall, the more intense, and then pull your chest forward. So we're using the wall as a tension system to pull the heart forward, to lengthen and fold down. Now we can put it all together. So come into your pigeon pose and do your best not to turn the hips. You really want your hips to be square here. So if you need to prop yourself up on some blocks or some bolsters, please do so. The more parallel your shin bone is to the top edge of the mat, the more intense the stretch. If it's too much, if there's any pressure on the knee, you can fold the heel closer to the groin. Keeping your hips square, meaning your belly button's not turning out, it's facing straight. You can start to lower it down. And then lengthen your spine, pull your heart forward, and walk the center of your chest to the center of your arch. So we're folding heart to foot. This is level 1. If this is very difficult and challenging, the next posture will be very challenging, and this is where the work lies. The work lies in opening the hips so that the second posture is accessible. If you have more range, think about taking your elbow to the arch of the foot without turning the belly button up, keeping your belly button square down as you take the twist from above your navel. And if you have even more range, think about laying your shoulder head down to the inside arch of the foot. Now that you're all warmed up with your twists and your hip openers, you can start to work into the grasshopper series. We'll start seated with our left leg out, step the right foot outside of the thigh. Lean onto your left hip, lifting your right butt cheek, and plant the hands. You can think about lifting your butt off by stepping into your right foot. So it's a very simple action of just pressing into the right leg to lift the butt up. Now you can reach your hand for the pinky edge side of the foot. So my thumb is down and I hold to the foot. I'm going to lean forward, same thing, step into my right foot, kick my foot into my hand, and then I can lift up for grasshopper. Grasshopper variation number 2 is deeper. This really starts to call into action that pigeon twist that we just took. So come into your standing figure 4, ankle outside of the thigh, and then we'll hold this foot in place and walk our elbow outside to the arch of the foot. So this is prerequisite. If this is very challenging, then the work lies here. Practice this hip opening and twist. If you can move deeper, take your foot into your armpit, plant your hands down, and wiggle the foot out. Take thigh onto tricep and bend your elbows. You might even straighten your leg. Variation 3 is also pretty tricky, and again, it's that same prerequisite. Elbow to the arch of the foot and armpit or tricep to the arch of the foot. So if you have that, then we're going to take our foot onto the arm and separate it from the thigh. Step your foot down into the tricep. Walk your right knee back behind your hands. Lean forward. You can walk the hands wider and then pull the heel in towards the butt. Lift your chest like a creepy spider. If you want to, you can even pop onto your fingertips. So those are kind of the behind the scenes actions of the 3 twisted poses that I think are so spooky fun. And I hope you guys found and took some value from this class, as well as what is necessary before you can enter and access these poses. Now, for all of you who might have had one too many treats during this Halloween season, definitely check out my newest class on Om Life Living app, where I teach you how to activate your core, work into splits, and your flexibility using socks. I also have all of my classes on there, especially the ones that really start to deepen your twist and hip opening for postures like these. If you guys did enjoy this class, do me that favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, stay for a while, ask any questions or feedbacks. If there's anything else you want to learn or hear about, let me know. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time.